watching Women Are Talking TV. I'm Billi Martin, and today's show is a very personal one for me. I want to discuss an uncommon and unpopular relationship that I've experienced and have discovered is not as unpopular as I thought. This relationship is a disturbing one that not a lot of us talk about. That relationship is amongst women of color and fibroids. On October 11th of 2007, the day before my 32nd birthday, I had my first myomectomy, which is the removal of the fibroid tumor without removing another organ like the uterus or ovary with it. My fibroids were 11 centimeters long. They were so big I looked like I was 4 months pregnant at a size 8. On August 16th of 2012, 5 years later, I had my second myomectomy surgery, removing fibroids 13 centimeters long. I was 36 years old at the time. After that surgery, I was told that I would not be able to get pregnant without medical assistance. And if I did get pregnant, my pregnancy would be high risk. Well, you can imagine the emotional and mental toll on me and my family, particularly the only child I already have. Just recently, during an annual checkup, I'm told that the fibroids regrown, and I'm about to be 40 years old next month. So, this is my personal story that I have so many questions to seek answers for. Joining me today are 3 women who have also experienced this unwanted relationship with fibroids. Chante Graham, producer of Ladies of Madison Avenue, Young Men of Vision, and Brooklyn Exposure. Chante is a mother of 1 and have recently had fibroids removed 2 short years ago. Also here with me is Vanessa Siverls, MBA student at Holt International Business School, who just a few short months ago had her first myomectomy. And with us via Skype is Renee Brown Small, founder of the Fibroids Project, which is an amazing online community and website dedicated to helping women become fibroid-free. Welcome, ladies. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I wanted to start off with you, Renee, firstly. Thank you for joining us all the way from DC.
And Thank you for having me.
And I must say, like I said on the phone when we were chit-chatting, I was surprised to receive my first communication with her was via Twitter. And I saw that she followed me, and I saw the title of her Twitter handle, and I got excited, like, what? And I reached back to her, and we just started exchanging and sharing stories. And I, did my CIA search on her project and whatever, and I just discovered that she is like the advocate for this. And I thank you, and I applaud and I commend what you're doing. And it's awesome to see that one person is doing so much for this issue. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Firstly.
Thank you, and thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be on your talk show and to listen to your story and hear everyone else's story, because this is an issue that affects so many women. And the most recent research is that 80 to 90% of Black women will be impacted with fibroids by age 50.
By age 50?
By age 50.
Wow.
So it is an epidemic.
Yes. Well, first of all, let me ask you, what made you decide to do this particular project?
So when I was diagnosed with fibroids back in 2006, I believe, I started to do research about fibroids and realized that there was not one hub where I could find research around the treatment, the options, and everything related to fibroids in one place. And so I wanted to provide a space for women to have that opportunity so that they can go to one unbiased source and receive information about all things fibroids. And that's really what made me start the Fibroids Project.
Wow. How long have you been researching? Because everyone, please go to her website, fibroidsproject.com. You will see how thorough and detailed this website is. And I wish I had discovered it in 2007. It probably would have helped me along the way, too. I really wish I did. So hopefully, those that are watching and listening will will follow up and start following your website as well. And it can be just as helpful to them as it has begun for me. But how long of your research did you go through? Was this okay, I need to get this information for self, or just to spread and share it as much as possible? Like, was this something that just you alone, or you had a coalition of women in a circle at church, on Sunday and having meetings about this?
Right. It was a combination of things. So I actually started it in 2010 after I had my fibroids removed via myomectomy as well. And I put it out there because I didn't want women to go through what I had gone through in terms of looking for options. So it was really providing a space and providing a source for women to come to that was unbiased, that would have all the different options that were available to them, and a woman would be able to choose, because I had heard so many stories about women telling me that their doctors had said they needed to have a hysterectomy and they were in their 30s or 20s and they hadn't had children. And so I decided to partner up with my co-founder. His name is Namdi Oswagu, and he is in technology, and he wanted to use his technology background to provide a space for the women. So it was really the two of us that got together, and we started the Fibroids Project back in 2010. And then we also, along the way, as we started to interview more and more physicians, we started to connect and partner up with different physicians that were really at the top of the field in fibroids and in fibroids research. And some of those physicians, as you'll see, are part of our team. So it's been quite a journey. There's been so much that's been done over the past few years, and there's so many more procedures actually that are available now versus what was available even 5 short years ago.
Yeah,
so there's been a lot done.
I totally agree with that. I'm going to bring the ladies here with me into the conversation. Vanessa actually knows Renee. They go back like babies on pacifiers. Like, they go back.
We go back like car seats.
Yes.
They go way back. So when I discovered this factor, I got even more excited. Vanessa, your dad shared, that this was your first time.
Yeah.
Going through this drastic, journey, and for you to be, I guess, the newbie, the newbie of the group. I don't know if I should say welcome, but
well, it's funny because newbie as far as surgery. Yes, I was diagnosed similar to Renee in 2007, and I was in my late 20s, and I, from the age of 21 till 28. I had normal visits to the GYN. Mm-hmm. Everything was fine. I worked out. I ate okay, and I didn't really have any symptoms or issues outside of the normal, oh, my period's here and it's painful, I'll take an Advil. But that year, my period came and it wasn't a normal pain. It was an excruciating pain, and it was bleeding for days and days. And that is when I rushed into the GYN, and they said that after a scan, you have uterine fibroids. I have heard of fibroids, but I didn't understand them. I didn't know the extent to which they grew, and specifically in the uterine area. And the first thing out of my doctor's mouth was, okay, we have to start running tests, and we may have to scrape it, we may have to cut it. So I'm hearing all of these invasive terms, and again, I didn't know anything about them, but I did make a decision to just step back. So although I'm newbie as far as the surgery, I'm back in 2007 as far as being diagnosed, and it's been 10 years of management unto the point where, management of symptoms, to the point where I felt it was time. I'm in my late 30s now, and it's only but so anemic, someone can be from the loss of blood. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you, I know for me, this was a decision factor for me. Was your doctor a male or female?
He was a male. And
did he make you feel comfortable?
Absolutely not. It was the basic surface for the first couple of years of my young adulthood because there were no issues. But the second there's something that I don't even think he was that familiar with at the time, I totally wasn't familiar with. Renee and I, at that same time, we found out we were going through the exact same thing, and I mean, we were trying everything, holistic measures, alternative,
Yes.
everything to just see, okay, how can we manage this without freaking out and just removing everything? Because that's one of the options. Well, it's one of the first options that till this day, doctors will immediately say, okay, well, I mean, we can get rid of it like this, and you'll never have to worry about it again. But then you're thrown into premenopause.
And
so
also, that's not a solution. That's
No.
just a quick fix for them.
that's a quick fix.
Me and Chante talked about this too, about the back in the day when this is not a new thing.
No.
This has been going on for a while. It's just been resolved by hysterectomy. That's the answer, because that's what they know how to do.
If you ask certain minority women over 50 or 60, they'll say, oh, well, I went to the doctor one day, had a surgery the next, and I was fine the day after. Something tells me those were hysterectomies that went on and they didn't know.
Right. And because they had multiple children, that was the answer.
Yeah.
That was the my first doctor was young, in his early 30s, area, and he recommended the laser surgery and what have you, that he was not very experienced in. Where he had to, during the surgery, he had to go and cut and blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, oh, I'm sorry, whatever, I'll give you free cosmetic surgery to hide the scars. No, I just need the constant reminder to not come back to you. That's all. That's all it meant. That's all it meant. And then, like, my primary doctor that referred him, he was, he kind of a father figure in my medical life. And you need to know this. This is an issue. I have nothing but majority, women of color as patients. And if I'm referring them to you, there better be your priority. And he was very, adamant about it. So 5 years later, when I was diagnosed again, he referred me to somebody else, Dr. Friedel, and she was phenomenal, awesome. I love her. Like, I want to, adopt her and everything. But yeah, she was awesome.
The key, literally what you're saying, and I know Renee can attest to this because we had the same surgeon. The key to even addressing the fibroid issue is your doctor has to, if they're not on the same page, it's because we don't know what page it is, but they have to at least understand where you are in your life. It's so important because there's so many factors that play into your decisions that you make. So Dr. Russell, Bernadette Russell, an MD, she did both of our surgeries, and literally it took her a year before she would place a knife to me because she needed to know everything that was going on in my life, mentally, emotionally, physically, and it just so happened that the time was right. And so doctors, they may not be aware, they may not have the answers, but they at least have to have certain soft skills or
a network group,
Facebook
buddies, something,
meet you where they are. And I'm hoping, like with projects with what Renee is doing and talk shows like what you're doing, more people can actually say, listen, doc, something's wrong with me, but wait, let's figure it out together, or send me to someone, like you said.
Yep. I'm going to redirect the next question to Chante real quick, but before we do, we will be right back. Don't go nowhere. Hey, you. Yeah, you. Remember me? I'm Billi Martin, producer of Women Are Talking TV. Previously, I asked for your help with spreading the word about Women Are Talking TV. Help me spread the word on Women Are Talking. There's no better promoting tactic than word of mouth. This show is something we need to have talked about. And you did just that. Women Are Talking was nominated for 2 Be Free Awards. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I couldn't have done it without an awesome crew, who I love posting pictures of on our Facebook page. Anywho, the invitation is still open to you. Yeah, you and all of your family and friends. I plead with you to continue to spread the word about Women Are Talking TV. We're creating a movement to move away from cattle TV. What I mean about cattle TV, well, think about it. Are you tired of the random TV and online shows of women just running their mouths, fighting each other and not saying anything? Remember me saying this? What's mainly shown on TV is that we're money-hungry, fame-whoring baby mamas whose only dependence is determined at the hand of a male figure in some form of fashion. For many of us, that is not our reality. For the others, well, I'd rather talk about them on the show. On Women Are Talking TV, I want to provide you with a platform to talk to each other, not at each other. Where can we start? Right here. Sharing, learning, teaching, and most importantly, listening. I invite you all, men and women of all shapes, colors, and cultures, to join me on Women Are Talking TV. Share your life successes and failures with exciting panelists as we all discuss ways to grow as individuals and as a whole. So join me on this panel or in the audience. Let's talk. Thank you for watching. And we are back discussing Black women and fibroids, the unspoken relationship. And I wanted to ask Chante real quick, why do you think doctors are so quick to advise patients to get a hysterectomy?
Well, my doctor didn't recommend hysterectomy.
I like them.
Yeah, I had a female doctor, and my doctor was very patient. We went through the whole steps. She wouldn't do surgery because I had excessive bleeding. So I actually had to take hormone pills to stop the bleeding. So my period would go for over 2 weeks. Ooh. I was extremely anemic, and when I went to my primary doctor, he was like, I thought you was gonna pass out. That's what prompted me to go see, he said to check out, get sonogram and all that stuff, and I was diagnosed with the fibroid. So my doctor in particular did not suggest hysterectomy. That was like the last option for me.
Like, I think that, like you mentioned, the doctors really have to know the patient very, pay attention and be concerned, because, we all have our individual journeys, but to sit there and say, you know what, we can solve this problem for you. I'm just going to take your entire uterus and ovary and that's it. That's a toll.
It really is.
That's a toll.
Then it's like, is there any hope? Or and it's not like it's a terminal disease.
Right. No.
And although we don't know what causes it, we don't know what can get rid of it, but to manage it, it's about quality of life and the management process of the symptoms, because that can take you a long way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
but I think part of the management is also making people aware and that this is a big deal.
Oh, it's big.
And it's a big deal everyone needs to get involved with, including not just, the medical field, but our home, our families. There are so many men that are not aware of how serious fibroids are.
Definitely.
Your dad himself was like, I didn't know this to my child. He was like, he wasn't aware until it affected you directly.
I heard for the very first time on a television show the word fibroid. Kevin Hart said it in Real Husbands of Hollywood. They were, they were asked to do something, and they were all like, oh no, well, I have bad back. I've got hemorrhoids. He says, I've got fibroids. And I'm like, thank you.
Somebody mentioned it.
Because up until then, I don't know, maybe, but someone as prominent as he is, he mentioned it. I wonder how many people went online to say, well, what the heck is fibroid? Yeah. It was a good thing as far as I'm concerned. But a lot of folks, especially, men, they don't know what that is.
Yeah, I think that we need to turn that around, because as women, we're nurturers, we're home, caretakers. We do it all for our families. We know of every degree of a illness and sickness that a Black man will experience. We know how to cure it. We know how to bandage it up. We know how to do all of that. But we want to make sure that the same knowledge is on the other side as well.
The thing with fibroids is just, it's so
it's personal.
Yeah.
Yes,
Very personal.
It's like sending them, that time of the month, honey, can you go get this for me? Now it's like, I may need something a little bit bigger than a pad.
They don't understand it. They're just waiting for the 4 or 5 days to go by to get their fun. They're not understanding. Why are you still standing?
Right. So that's something that I think we need to explore as women as well, is how do you have that conversation with your mate? Because that's
and pull your whole family into it,
not just your
pull your family into it. That's important.
That's something that we're definitely addressing with the Fibroids Project. When we started, initially it was all about the medical aspect, but like Vanessa said, because it's such a quality of life issue and it affects your whole being. One of the things that we started doing is having an expert speaker series, and our speakers are not only, we do have physicians, but then we also have relationship experts and mental health experts and different folks to be able to walk a woman through, dealing with fibroids. So
awesome.
It is.
Definitely,
I joined her last
we hear from so many women, and you all can attest to this. It's just a quality of life thing.
Yeah.
Definitely.
A quality of life that affects all of us.
Yes.
Not just one. It's affecting all of us because there are so many women who still have it and they don't want to go through the surgery for whatever reasons they have at the time, but they're internally unhappy,
Yes.
Low self-esteem. It's affecting their lives, their everyday lives, even with their families.
Yes.
So I mean, I just feel, personally, I hope that whoever is watching and listening, that you know that women like myself, Renee's phenomenal online community are so available for you, and you are not going through this alone. Please know that you are not going through this alone. Renee, I joined your last teleconference call. Was it last week or the week before? It was a week or two, right? Like
about a week ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the hour went by so fast. it went by so fast, and I was very I enjoyed myself, and I felt like I was a part of a fibroid sisterhood. You know, we all like dropping questions, and you know, Big Mama Bear had her answers and whatever. But it felt good to know that even though I can't see you, and even though I don't know your Facebook screen name, I know that there is somebody on this line that understands what I am going through right now.
Yes.
And that's what I walked away with more than anything.
Yes, and that's exactly how women feel when we're all on the phone together. And most of the wonderful thing about the experts is the vast majority of the experts that we've had have had fibroids.
Wow.
So the physicians, the mental health experts, we have an expert coming on who is a nutritionist. They've all had fibroids. So they totally understand when a woman is asking all these questions, what she's going through. And for the men that have been on the call, it's usually, most of the men have been fibroid pioneers, meaning that the physicians have pioneered something in their field. And, you know, their bedside manner is phenomenal. Like, they completely understand. Obviously, they can't empathize with us, but they sympathize. And they answer all of our questions, and it is really a community of women that can feel like they're not alone, and we get so much positive feedback just because they got their question answered, and you know, someone's listening to them, and it's not a space where, you know, no one's judging, and we're just trying to provide people with as much information so that they can become educated advocates for themselves and their health.
Information is key.
Yes.
Information
Absolutely.
is key. And I love it. And my next question for you guys. How do you think we can continue to make people aware? Besides what Renee's doing with the Fibroids Project, besides Women Are Talking, do you know of any suggestions that we can like make people like, oh, light bulb, what's going on? You know, why don't I know about this and whatever? Because I've thought about PSAs, you know, I mean, like, you know, contacting Congress or, you know, or something, or, I mean, I don't know, maybe because of me and my issues, you know, I'm going above and beyond, but it's a big issue that I don't want it to be like, you know, swept under the rug.
One idea that I thought of that I just kept to myself, but who knows, maybe it can happen. In the aisle where they have feminine products, incorporate something, maybe it has to be designed, but that's specific for women who have uterine fibroids during that time of month. Something that,
like
a special type of sanitary pad, or just information near
or larger quantities for those with fibroids,
or information near the pads that those of us who have had fibroids go to, which are, and I'm going to just say it, the pamper aisle.
Right.
It's the pamper aisle.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
So you may not be, you know, have a bladder issue, but you got something that is just as equally damaging to your lifestyle.
Absolutely.
So why not put some sort of
or some type of disclaimer, like you get an extra box for free if you have fibroids or something, because I'm sure we done up the whole, you know, the stock market for always. You know, I'm sure we have. So like there should be some type of
every month.
You know, like I'm sure we doubled their profit.
So I think that may get women asking what it is, or just being more inquisitive about it. Maybe they can go to the pharmacist in the back at, to find out exactly what it is, and if they, I don't know, but just more information is key. Putting it out there more. It's not. Mm-hmm. You don't see it anyway. You may see an ad or two about uterine fibroids on the subway train, but how many people are really, going to look up on a subway train and associate that, with it?
Like, oh, okay, maybe.
If they're not in the moment. But you're right. It's just we just have to find different ways. That's why I really commend Renee on what she's doing and what you're doing, and how we get it to the young girls is
who
another
are oblivious or
issue.
Doesn't see it as a serious issue.
Yeah.
I think it's a big scare to tell a young woman under 35 that, oh, let me take your uterus out, and even though, you won't have children for the rest of your life, you won't have fibroids. Like, that is such a scare.
Or going into a high school and picking out 1 out of every 4 girls and saying...
You mean 4 out of every 5?
What? Yeah, you're 9 times out of 10, you're gonna have fibroid. You're gonna have, and they're gonna look at you like, huh?
Well, maybe the education should start in the schools.
That's a phenomenal idea.
That's a great
8 to 9
suggestion.
out of 10 girls will have fibroids by the time they are 50.
Oh yeah.
Black girls, 8 to 9 out of 10.
Yeah, like Renee mentioned earlier, about 70% of women, all women have it, but 80% of that, I think that minority
women. Yeah, my doctor was sharing that in her lobby when she first became more and more, she started having more and more patients with it. Majority of her patients, Latino and Black women.
Yeah.
Latino and Black women. And the fact that the patients are becoming younger and younger and younger, I'm thinking that has a lot to do with dietary choices.
That has a big, I think dietary choices has a big thing to do with it. Also, I think it's the foods we eat. I think it's the chicken. I always said chicken has something to do with my fibroids because of
Blame it on the chicken.
I'm saying they pump these chickens with all of these hormones now. And we're not eating the same foods we used to eat back in the day.
Now they running loose on the freeway. You saw the news other
Look
day?
how big the chickens are. They're like this big.
Yeah.
The chicken breast is this big. And I could have said that one thing I did eat was a lot of chicken.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of fibroids, so I did cut my intake of chicken, and they haven't come back in the 2 years because I changed my diet. I changed my diet, started exercising more, and I tried to cut out the chicken, the red meat, because I think that, and it could be hereditary because my mom had them.
Okay.
Well, see, that's the thing. It can be hereditary, but
But how
being
so,
preventative.
though? How can it be hereditary when you have women that have like 5, 6 children and not one lick of a fibroid, but one of her daughters can have no children. By the time she's 35, she have a fibroid 2 feet long. You know what I mean? It's how you know what? Let's keep talking about that as soon as we come back. We will be right back.
Belisha,